ESPN Esports has been hosting a Who is Your Favorite Esports Player poll on their Twitter. It's got a really big, in-depth bracket full of players from a ton of different esports scenes, and the StarCraft players have been matched against some different people from different scenes. Chiefly, I'm going to talk about Flash being matched up against Luminosity Gaming's Problem. For anyone who's not familiar, Problem is a Madden esports player. He's apparently the best Madden esports player in the scene and of all time. He's been going for a number of years. A lot of StarCraft 2 fans and StarCraft Brood War fans, I guess, a lot of StarCraft fans took offense or took affront to Problem being matched up with Flash, possibly the greatest esports player of all time, depending on who you ask, depending on your knowledge. And some people said the Problem was throwing some unnecessary shade, that his attitude was messed up. They said that some of the things he was saying, it was just messed up. And they threw some, I would say, unwarranted criticism, some unwarranted trolling, some unwarranted tweets his way. And I was really disappointed to see this in the StarCraft community, honestly. I thought that we'd totally left behind this idea that, ooh, yeah, your StarCraft is the only valid esport, blah, blah, blah. Like, listen, I don't think, I'm never going to have interest in, like, Madden esports or NBA 2K esports or, I don't know, what's another, like, any of the sports games. I don't see a future for them being played competitively in an esports environment. I don't think that those people, like the people who play the sports games, aren't generally the people who are esports fans. I think that's a very broad statement to make, and I don't know. I just feel that that's the case. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have, like, say, Madden in the same setting as a StarCraft or a League of Legends or a Street Fighter, but that doesn't make them less. It just means that they have a different audience, you know? They might have less potential overall to become their own thing, but there's still lots of cool things happening in those scenes. Like just today, or not today, yesterday, I want to say it was yesterday, an article came out talking about how the Toronto Raptors have an interest in esports, and all of that interest comes primarily from the E-League NBA 2K tournament. I think it's E-League. I want to say it's E-League. What's up, Iced? I'm pretty sure it's E-League. God, now I can't remember. But this is what I'm talking about, you know? Like, just because NBA 2K isn't a traditional esport, which is such a crazy thing to say, that doesn't mean that there's not cool things that can like, come from that scene. I mean, if the Toronto Raptors get involved with esports in the same way that the Bruins have, or what were the NBA teams? Christ, I can't remember. Oh, who's the team that picked up Dignitas? Oh, the 76ers, and then that investment capital corporation or whatever you call it, the venture capitalist thing that owns like the Washington Capitals and a ton of teams all over. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. I'm gonna blame the illness for not remembering these team names. But like, there's lots of traditional sports interest in esports right now, and if it takes an NBA 2K to bring that money and to bring that interest into esports, then I'm totally fine with it. So I don't understand Miami Heat and the Misfits. Yeah, those are Miami Heat and Misfits. Excuse me, the Misfits is a band. That's another good one. Dank toast. I mean, like, there are cool things happening in the traditional sports esports games. And if Problem is the best one of the Madden player, excuse me, if Problem is the best person playing Madden of all time, then yeah, absolutely. I think he gets to say, like, oh man, you know, Flash hasn't done anything that I haven't done. Like, okay, literally that's not true. But if we're just talking about being the best in a scene, then sure, of course, fine. That's totally fine. Lots of people play Madden, you know, like, sure. And I think a lot of what he was saying on Twitter, like, let's just go see if we can hunt down what good Problem was saying on Twitter. A lot of it was just him, like, talking big for his fans, and I think that's totally acceptable. Comparing apple to orange. How so? Oh, also, totally forgot. Type !! Discord in chat if you want to call in. You can join my Discord, and there are voice channels, line 1, 2, 3. If you want to talk on stream, talk about some stuff, just join one of those channels. Tell me in Twitch chat, because I won't see you in the Discord. So please just tell me in Twitch chat, or find a way to just hit me up, fam. So what did Problem actually say? It's been like a week now, I'm pretty sure, so it might be hard to find. But like I'll talk to more than just Problem. They're both fruit. No. What do you mean? Like, do you mean comparing like the whole of esports to gaming with like sports games? Because I'm very specifically saying that I don't think those two are very similar. Remember that I said like I don't think those two audiences overlap. But that doesn't mean that good can't come for both of them, at the same time. Okay, no disrespect to Flash. This is the tweet the first tweet that he made. No, it's not the first tweet that he made. It's the second tweet that he made about the poll. He retweeted someone who said, "No offense to Problem, but Flash is a living legend of StarCraft and esports in general. This shouldn't be close." And he says, "No disrespect to Flash, but there isn't anything he's done in his game that I haven't done in my game." Bless up. And you know what? If he's like the best one in his game, then that's totally fine. And then he retweets someone saying "lol," and it's just a Wikipedia results of like Flash tournaments, which is obviously impressive. Flash best, Bonjour. Like, I'm trying to find a tweet where he says something super inflammatory that everybody could, like, jump on and be like, oh, this guy's a dick, but I don't see it. The poll didn't have double if so I didn't vote. Wow. No comparing Problem and Flash and their respective games. They're both video games, yet nothing alike. Yeah, but the whole poll is favorite esports player. Like, if you're going to say that you can't compare Problem and Flash because their games are too different, then why should you compare Jaedong and Daigo? Which is another one that people apparently had a big problem with. Like, oh my god. I feel like there's a certain level of... Not a big problem, not in the same way, but like I saw people saying some pretty ignorant stuff about Daigo compared to Jaedong. Like, Daigo's been in esports since before esports was a thing, Saying the whole poll is dumb. I don't think it's just a fun little thing. Like, it doesn't matter, Like, it's... Who is the favorite esports pro? Like, why are people taking this as such a big deal? And why are people being so toxic about it, And he says that esports earnings is uninformed, which is totally reasonable, I think. Like, if they're missing stats, then okay. Been dominating for over a decade. There's only one major event for Madden each year, another false statement. I don't know. I saw so many people coming out and being pretty fucking toxic at this guy for saying that he was the best in his field and everybody should vote for me. Like, of course he's going to say that. I think the negative reaction says more about insecurity among StarCraft 2 community more than anything else. I completely agree with that. Troy, SC2. I completely agree with that. Toast, you're welcome to hop on if you want. I think you're at work though, right, buddy? But hey, if you want to like PM me at some point and have a chat, that's totally fine too. It doesn't have to be a stream thing. So yeah, that was the Problem stuff. Like, I just found out who Flash was yesterday. People in my world don't know who Flash is, just like StarCraft people don't know Madden people. I think that's the most fair statement ever made, Like, we don't know who the hell this guy is. We don't have any right to say that this guy, well, you can't even touch Flash. Like, we don't know anything about Madden esports. I certainly don't. I can't imagine that many people do, right? From the StarCraft scene. So, like, if you don't know, I don't know, man. And then some people were saying some dank stuff about Daigo. And that one particularly bothered me, because I do know things about Daigo. Alright, let's see if we can find this poll. Oh, okay, it was Flash and Daigo, I think. I'd actually like to see Problem play SC2 and Flash play Matt. That would be super fun. That's a great idea. I know some people hit up Problem and was like, hey, I'm really sorry for the shit you're getting right now. If you ever want to play co-op or something, then, you know, like, hit me up. I was one of those people. And I got a little follow from Problem. So, you know, I think he's a fine guy. I think he's a nice guy. So Flash versus Daigo. Daigo won 54%. If Daigo doesn't advance, it's a travesty of justice. I thought this was satire at first. Do you even know who Flash is? Like, I'm not calling anybody out on stream, but that's a very, like, I don't know, man. That one rubs me so the wrong way. It really does. Because, and then the other guy responds, number 1 ranked StarCraft player, he's good. But here's the thing, esports equal Daigo, Evo moment 37, which is insane. It's such a good moment. What moment is Flash famous for? And then the plane. I don't know. Okay, so then it kind of devolves. Like, they're both amazing. They're both titans, you know? Oh my. It just sucks to see the StarCraft people, like, getting fighty about other scenes. Because I thought we were past that. So Fear Dragon mentions the tribal aspect of esports. I think that's totally relevant. And let's be real. Let's be super real about the whole concept here. Like, this is probably, I mean, not specifically like drama stuff, but ESPN Esports with this idea wants it to be contentious. You know, they want one scene to rally against the other scene, to post on Reddit and be like, we can't lose to this guy. Everybody vote, you know, like, because that's great brand exposure. Like, whoever thought of this idea in ESPN, oh man, they did their stuff. They did good. They did good job on this idea. But it's disappointing to see the StarCraft fans specifically kind of obsess over it and get fighty and be toxic and dismissive of other players in other scenes, because that's an era of StarCraft and StarCraft 2 esports culture that I remember and would never want to go back to. This is what normal sports is like too, but with favorite players' teams within a game, people get nasty. I don't want there are many things that I don't want to come over from normal sports into esports, and that kind of nastiness is like you can't do much about it. It's kind of like to the hands of fate and human nature at a point, but like, if I can speak out and, you know, do something about it, then okay. There's enough room in the game scene for anything that can gather enough of a following to be considered worth watching someone else play. It sounds a whole lot like My Hero Can Beat Up Your Hero contest, which no one that actually has to compete has a whole lot to say. I agree with that. Was it Jacob Wolf who thought, well, do we know who thought of it? I mean, I know Jacob Wolf works for ESPN Esports, but did he think of this bracket? It's already come over, though. Tribalism between games is entrenched. Yeah, I guess so. I would like it to be more civil tribalism. Fear Dragon in the chat there. Weren't you arguing against the tribalistic nature of esports the other day there? Like, I thought, as all this was kind of happening, weren't you saying that, like, the titans of any given scene should be known by anyone who likes esports kind of thing? I think I remember that discussion on Twitter. Can we get tailgating at the GSL? Oh, man. I only a little bit know what tailgating is. And it doesn't sound that great, I'm not going to lie. If you want to solve tribalism in games, you have to create an environment of more cross-promotion and cross-game involvement. I agree with that. Let's keep the tribalism. It's good for competition. JK, it's dumb. Lel.